My name is Lesley Saddington, and I'm 84 years old, and I live in Berowra, New South Wales. Jenny from your side rang me one day and said, "How are you getting on through this isolation?" And I said, "Well, it's getting a bit dreary." And she said, "Would you like a pen pal?" And I said, "That's a lovely idea, Jenny."
We were actually quite overwhelmed by the number of interested people who wanted to be involved. What we asked of them was to let us know a little bit about themselves, such as their name, their age, their biography. And once we were able to make the matches based on interests, we sent them each a welcome pack, and that included self-addressed envelopes, the short biography of each pen pal, some postcards and instructions of what to do. And then we left it up to them to do the writing.
She asked me a little bit about myself and what sort of pen pal I might communicate well with, and then a couple of weeks later I received a letter in the post that had postcards, stamps and a lovely description. I'm going to read it to you. "Introducing your new pen pal, Karen. I am a postdoctoral research fellow from Adelaide, a scientist in infectious disease outbreaks. I live in the hills on 4 acres and I have 2 children." When I heard that, I was over the moon. I tell you, it was like a fresh breeze blowing in on the COVID-19 isolation, because I was expecting another oldie like myself, and I was expecting our letters would communicate our frailties and our forgetfulness and all the things that happen when you get old. But instead, I've got a whole wonderful young family living on an acreage, fruit trees, things that I love because I worked for the Department of Agriculture once, and I used to advise about growing fruit trees.
I've always liked being a pen pal. From when I was a child, I really enjoyed receiving letters and writing letters, and sending funny pictures and just doing things that make people feel really good when they get a letter on the other end. And so it was a really nice chance to kind of bring a bit of what I loved in childhood back into my adult life. So my pen pal Lesley and I have covered so many topics already. We've talked about work. We've both been scientists, or I still am. She was in the past. Our love of gardening, our children, our families, and some quite personal things, losses that we've both gone through, and our love of music. It's been quite incredible actually how open we've been from the beginning.
The benefit is more than combating loneliness. The benefit is actually about building relationships. What we're seeing between pen pals is deep relationships being built. They're exchanging gifts, they're celebrating birthdays together, they're exchanging the wisdom of their lives. The other thing is that what we're seeing is that the Pen Pal Project, particularly when a younger person is matched with an older person, it's reframing aging. The younger person is being able to see that older people can be fun and interesting, dynamic and cheeky. And it's a great way to be able to challenge the way we see what we do or who we are as we get older.
It takes me right away from what's going on in the world at the moment. I go into Karen's world and the world of my past, because that's more interesting than my present. And I escape. There's been an extra dimension which has just changed my life completely. I lost a son in 1995 to AIDS, and I have written his biography because he was a leading activist during the AIDS epidemic in Sydney, and I put it aside because I thought an old lady wouldn't have much credibility with a publisher. But then I told Karen that I'd written this, and she told me that she would love to read it. That has changed my life. I'm in there on the computer every second day polishing up my manuscript to send to Karen.
So her first letter that she wrote to me, she said her son had died from HIV and that she had written a book. She hasn't shared too many other details than that, but it was really touching that she shared that with me so early on. I felt really touched, because I'm a scientist that works in HIV, and so it touched me for many levels because of the work I do and the patients that I come into contact with, and because I've gone through my own losses. And so I felt that real vulnerability that she shared with someone that she'd never met, and that it made me feel really comfortable to be able to share some things that I'd been through too. So I feel like we just had a connection really quickly because she was able to share something so personal about her son. And I'm looking forward to reading the book and to talking to her about this, hopefully one day if we get to meet.
It's wonderful just to have that extra dimension in life which has shrunken so terribly in the last few months.
If I met Lesley face to face, I would tell her what a wonderful, inspiring, resilient woman that she is. And I am so glad that she was brought into my life. I think she was brought into my life for a reason. And if lockdown ends and we ever get to meet one day, I would love to give her a huge hug.